I'm going to go through some example data and show you how to run a t-test here. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is select your data and copy and paste it into SPSS. This is pretty easy. Let's just copy, paste. The only thing left that we have to do is add our variable names here at the top. If you remember, there's a data view and a variable view down here at the bottom. You can switch between these by clicking down here. You can also double click on the variables and it'll switch you back here to the data view. Same thing up here, click on the variable. So these are doing the same thing, switching back and forth here. Okay, so we'll change these. I made up a fake data set here with some fake variables. We have gender, we have age, we have ice cream consumption, and whether or not they had a cavity. So obviously this is a fake data set. Wanted to pick something that's fairly simple to understand. Thus, the ice cream consumption idea here. I'm hypothesizing that maybe younger kids are going to eat more ice cream, and then that the people who eat more ice cream are more likely to have a cavity later. I also included gender just because this is something that even if you don't have a hypothesis on gender in particular, it's a good thing to include in your method section if you have that data. I know some of y'all collected data on groups of people, so it might be a little harder to separate the gender of everyone who is in the group, and that might get a little confusing. But if you have it, report it. If you don't, talk to us and we'll figure out a way to incorporate gender into your data set. The first thing we're going to want to do, no matter what test you're running, is you're going to be asked to figure out what some descriptives are for your data. So the way you do this, you can get descriptives by clicking on Analyze here, going down to Descriptive Statistics, and let's start with getting the frequencies of our gender here. So you can click Frequencies and you can get gender. So you do that by clicking the arrow. So I'll show you that again. Make sure gender is highlighted, click on the arrow, it'll bring it over here. I believe you can also drag it, so you can do that. But the key is to get the variable that you want over here. Click OK, and this is going to show you the frequency of those variables. So depending on how you labeled your data, in my case, 0 represents females, 1 represents males. I know that I have 20 females in my study and 19 males. And then it also gives you the percents. So this is data that you're going to want to include. These are some numbers you're going to want to include in your papers, but we'll show you exactly how to report those, and according to APA style, we'll do that later. But for now, I want you to know how to find that data. Next, if you wanted to do the same thing, let's see, for whether or not they had a cavity, this might be another thing that would be best to use a frequency because it's just a dichotomous variable, meaning it's a 0 or a 1. So there's just two options. So you can do this also for whether or not they have a cavity. So analyze descriptive statistics, frequencies, and you can bring over had cavities. You can leave both those in there if you want, or you can take it out. It doesn't really matter. And down here you can see our gender, what we just did, and have cavity. So it looks like that in our data set there were 14 people who had a cavity. I labeled a 1 for anyone who had a cavity and a 0 for anyone who didn't. So of our 39 people, 14 of them had a cavity. 25 did not. And again, it gives you those in terms of percentages. So this is just kind of some more just descriptive info here. The next thing we want to do in terms of descriptives, you can look at the means. Now, looking at mean and standard deviation is going to make the most sense if we have a continuous variable like age or ice cream consumption. This variable is ranked on I don't know, we'll just say that this is the number of ice cream cones they had in the month of May. Um, these are both continuous, so for variables like this, it's a little more helpful to give us the average of each of these. So to do that, you click Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then click on Descriptives. You can select both of these, click the arrow over to bring them into this box, and then click OK. And the things you're going to want to focus on here are just the mean and the standard deviation. So the average age of the people in our study was about 15 years old with a standard deviation of 5. The number of ice cream cones people ate per month or during the month of May on average was about 5.4 with a standard deviation of 2.9. So this is how you can get your descriptive statistics for a continuous variable. So just kind of keep that in mind. Depending on how your data is organized, your descriptives, it might make more sense to do a frequency, or it might make more sense to do a mean. But here is how you can do that.